Well, hey there, folks. I'm meteorologist Matt Barentine. We've been talking about this Arctic outbreak for nearly 2 weeks now, and here we are. We're in it. And boy, it is going to be a cold run of it here over the next several days. You can see here for your Monday, temperatures in the 40s. That's it. Low to mid 40s at that. And then the wind chills in the 30s here for us throughout the day today. So it is going to be blustery and cold. I mean, these winds are going to be blowing here at 25 to 30 miles per hour here throughout the day. These are the forecast wind gusts, well over 20 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour. So really bitterly cold throughout the day today. Then it's going to be really cold going into tonight as well. In fact, tonight going into tomorrow morning, we have a cold weather advisory. Now, I've never heard of a cold weather advisory. It's the old wind chill advisory. They just changed the name of it to cold weather advisory just to encompass more cold weather, I suppose. But regardless, it's the same thing. We're looking at wind chills really diving on down tomorrow morning into the upper teens probably in some spots. So here's how that looks. This is the evening temperature. So we'll hit freezing before midnight tonight. So here's the funny thing about today. When you look in the record books, it'll say our high today was 70 degrees. 12:01, just after midnight last night, it was 70 degrees in Mobile. We'll probably get right down to around freezing just before midnight tonight. So 11:59 will be the low. It'll probably be 32 or 31 degrees. So that's what it's going to look like. And of course, when you look at it in the books like that, 32 degrees, 70 degrees, you think, oh, it was a cold morning, but a beautiful afternoon getting up to 70. No, that's not the way it's working today because of the way this cold air is coming in. Look at the lows tomorrow morning. It drops off in the upper 20s. And the wind chills will be down the teens. Now, upper 20s is not when pipes are going to freeze. You need really mid-20s. You got to get really pretty cold for that. So we're probably not going to have widespread issues. Now, I'm not telling you not to protect your pipes. It's probably a good idea. Just go ahead and do it. There's going to be some more cold mornings this week, so why not go ahead and, put the covers on the faucets and that sort of thing and run a little bit of water. That's fine. I mean, you don't want to take a chance and, have a $3,000 repair bill. So I'm telling you that you probably should go ahead and take those precautions. But my sense is that we won't have any widespread problems. It's just not going to be cold enough. And that's the thing about this run of cold weather. We've been talking about this for days, for this Arctic outbreak. We're not expecting record-breaking cold. We're just not. We're not going to be that cold. To break records this time of year, we'd have to drop off into low teens. Thankfully, we're not doing that. What's interesting about this Arctic outbreak is how long it's going to last. It's going to be with us all week long. We get a brief break on Friday, which I'll show you, then it gets really cold again over the weekend. So forecast lows tomorrow morning around the area. Like I said, you need mid-20s for a hard freeze, and only, Grove Hill, maybe Monroeville, a few spots inland will see a hard freeze in the morning, but most of us are having what's just a sort of a moderate freeze tomorrow morning. The thing is, though, we're going to have quite the wind chill. I mean, here's the wind chill numbers for tomorrow morning. At best, it's going to be around 20. And a lot of areas will actually get teens for the wind chills in the morning. So incredibly cold for us on our Tuesday morning. And you look at the next 5 days, you can see incredibly cold again. Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. The good news about those mornings, though, we won't have the wind chill. The winds will have died off at that point. But it stays cold. Usually when we have days like today, they're in the 40s. They don't last very long. We have a couple of cold days, then we warm back up. But you can see we still stay in the 40s Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon. So we're just staying really cold. Now Friday, the mornings comes up to 39 degrees. And that's a big part of the thing we're going to be looking at because we have a system coming in on Friday that's going to be driving in rain. Now, late last week and going into 10, 12 days out from all this, people were posting all over social media that we're getting snowmageddon because they were looking at those long range models that are going out 10, 12 days, and they're finding the runs that show snow and ice all the way down here. But those are just model runs, and when we're talking about a really far out like this, they tend to be really wacky, and that's what I was trying to get across over and over again, day after day. So we had to be really careful with all that. So now we're looking at our Friday, and it's looking to be way too warm for any wintry weather down here on the Gulf Coast. Just not going to happen. And this is the reason why is it's the usual suspect. The Gulf of Mexico, where the moisture is coming from, this is a Gulf low, is 68 degrees just offshore. 68 degrees. So that air has to run over that 68-degree water to bring the moisture into our area. That warms things up. Just does not allow for snow and ice down into our area. In fact, the closest probably will be the higher elevations of the northern part of the state, and go up to Fort Payne, Mentone, maybe near Huntsville. Those areas, especially with some elevation, might find some snow and ice up there. But that's a 5-6 hour drive from here, so it's just not going to be anywhere close by. That's the GFS model. Look at that. It shows just that snow ice line somewhere in the very northern part of the state. Here's the European model. Guess what? It's going to show the same thing. Rain for us on Friday. Probably some pretty good rain as well. And then the snow and ice, well north of us. Well north of us. Not anywhere close by. 6 hour drive to find snow and ice. So once again, all those social media posts, I got all people all jacked up about some snow and ice, snowmageddon here in the deep south, doesn't pan out, which happens a lot. So you got to be real wary of what you see there on social media. So here's the long range forecast. Yeah, once again, the big thing about this cold outbreak is how long it's going to last. And we got a little bit of a warm up on Friday, just a little bit. I mean, it's still pretty cool on Friday, but it warms up. And then Saturday and Sunday are going to be fairly chilly as well. Only in the 40s on Saturday for highs, probably be another freeze on Sunday morning. The following week after that, temperatures will be in the 50s, so I think we'll start to gradually bounce back, but it'll be a slow process. So this Arctic outbreak isn't so much about how cold we get. We're not breaking any records. It's about how long it's going to last. And in the totality of it is I believe this will probably be our coldest week of the year. Now, we could certainly have another run of cold weather that's colder than mid-20s. Could happen. But we're not likely to have a whole week of cold weather like this. So we'll see. But once again, this is probably going to be the coldest week of the year. So hopefully you're prepared for it. Your warmest clothes, get them out. That's what you're going to need all week long. Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 10.